How indelible a part of the human experience is art? Do pigeons dream in symbols? Or is it just us? Can we escape the need for beauty? Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel. Now over 610 poems strong, 610 videos in that playlist. The poem in question today, The Idea of Order at Key West by Wallace Stevens, and it reads as such. She sang beyond the genius of the sea. The water never formed to mind or voice, like a body, holy body, fluttering its empty sleeves, and yet its mimic motion made constant cry, caused constantly a cry that was not ours, although we understood, inhuman, of the veritable sea, ocean. The sea was not a mask, no more was she. The song and water were not medleyed sound, even if what she sang was what she heard. Since what she sang was uttered word by word, it may be that all in her phrases stirred the grinding water and the gasping wind, but it was she and not the sea we heard. For she was the maker of the song she sang. The ever hooded, tragic gestured sea was merely a place by which she walked to sing. Whose spirit is this? We said, because we knew it was the spirit that we sought and knew that we should ask this often as she sang. If it was only the dark voice of the sea that rose, or even colored by many waves, if it was only the outer voice of sky and cloud, of the sunken coral water walled, however clear, it would have been deep air, the heaving speech of air, a summer sound repeated in a summer without end, and sound alone. But it was more than that, more even than her voice and ours, among the meaningless plungings of water and the wind. Theatrical distances, bronze shadows heaped on high horizons, mountainous atmospheres of sky and sea. It was her voice that made the sky acutest at its vanishing. She measured to the hour its solitude. She was the single artificer of the world in which she sang. And when she sang, the sea, whatever self it had, became the self that was her song. For she was the maker. Then we, as we beheld her striding there alone, knew that there never was a word for her except the one she sang and, singing, made. Ramon Fernandez, tell me if you know why, when the singing ended and we turned toward the town, tell why the lights in the fishing boats at anchor there, as the night descended tilting in the air, mastered the night and portioned out the sea, fixing emblazoned zones and fiery poles, arranging, deepening, enchanting night. O blessed rage for order, pale Ramon, the maker's rage to order words of the sea, words of the fragrant portals dimly starred in ourselves and of our origins, in ghostlier demarcations, keener sounds. Now, not a particularly terse poem, I think you will agree. But what it is talking about is a woman who walks along the beach and whose song is so beautiful, everyone there stops and looks at her, and it kind of ends everything while she's walking by and singing. That is how beautiful is her song. But I want to ask you, who is this woman? If we're going to go deeper into this poem, We have to ask, who is this woman with such a beautiful song, with such a beautiful voice? Well, I want to read something to you, something else from the War of Art: Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles by Stephen Pressfield. It is the chapter called For the Love of the Game, and it reads as such. To clarify a point about professionalism, the professional, though he accepts money, does his work out of love. He has to love it, otherwise he wouldn't devote his life to it of his own free will. This woman loves her singing. She is so good at it that everyone else loves it too. The professional has learned, however, that too much love can be a bad thing. Too much love can make him choke. The seeming detachment of the professional, the cold-blooded character to his demeanor, is a compensating device to keep him from loving the game so much that he freezes in action. Playing for money or adopting the attitude of one who plays for money lowers the fever. Remember what we said about fear, love, and resistance. The more you love your art calling enterprise, the more important its accomplishment is to the evolution of your soul. The more you will fear it, and the more resistance you will experience facing it. The payoff of playing the game for money is not the money, which you may never see anyway, even after you turn pro. The payoff is that playing the game for money produces the professional attitude. It inculcates the lunch pail mentality, the hardcore, hard head, hard hat state of mind that shows up for work despite rain or snow or dark or night and slugs it out day after day. The writer is an infantryman, and here the singer is an infantryman. He knows that progress is measured in yards of dirt extracted from the enemy 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time, and paid for in blood. The artist wears combat boots. He looks in the mirror and sees G.I. Joe. Remember, the muse favors working stiffs. She hates prima donnas. To the gods, the supreme sin is not rape or murder, but pride. To think of yourself as a mercenary, a gun for hire, implants the proper humility. It purges pride and preciousness. Resistance loves pride and preciousness. Resistance says, show me a writer who's too good to take job X or assignment Y, and I'll show you a guy who can crack like a walnut. Technically, the professional takes money. Technically, the pro plays for pay. But in the end, he does it for love. Now let's consider, what are the aspects of the professional? I think in this poem, we have to see the woman walking along the beach as a professional. That art, the art of singing, is part of her. That the act of singing, the performance of singing, is indelible to her. She cannot escape it. She wouldn't want to escape it. No one on the beach wants her to escape it either. I think that there is a lesson in this. And that lesson, comes out to being, what are those things that you would do without the pay? What parts of your life are you willing to accept as forever parts? What parts of your life do you wake up and look? I don't think you even have to look forward to it. There are days where I think that even professional athletes, for instance, professional football players, played football their entire lives. They wake up, they don't want to do it that day, but they go out and do it anyway. Does this woman walking along the beach ever not feel like singing, but do it anyway? I doubt you get that alluring a siren call without doing so? What part of your life do you feel like working on even when you don't feel like working on it? Do you feel compelled to work on? That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.